Welcome back to the Macro Gamer channel. I'm Mark Cassingham, and this is going to be week 1 of our portfolio investment. This is our return on investment, our ROI, part of our portfolio. So we're going to go over week by week, showing the numbers of the 6 different asset classes. Remember, there's one in stocks, bonds, gold, commodities, US currency, and Bitcoin. And we're going to show the percentages, and week by week I'm just going to keep updating this, and any changes I make, you'll see it. So this is going to be week 1 ending July 26th. So this is from the 22nd to the 26th, that week of the market. So first, we started off with $100. We're down to 99.79 cents. This is our net worth of our portfolio as of yesterday, 7/27. So what that looks like on the portfolio charts, you see a pie chart here, each color representing a different asset class. And you see some parts of the pie are bigger than others, and that's representative of the percentages of the assets. So let's get into those assets. So currently, this is our portfolio as it stands. So we just have a flat line right now because this is only 1 week's worth of data. As the weeks go on, we'll see weeks and months worth of data, then the months turn into years, and then we'll see more and more and more. But as of right now, we only have 1 week worth of data. So you can see our money weighted return is down 0.21%, very small fraction. So we're down market gain 0.21 cents or 21 cents. So this is the breakdown of how we're allocating capital to our individual ETFs. So first we have our GLD ETF, which is gold, at 30%. You can see on the right here that 30% is the allocated weight. We have commodities as the USCI ticker symbol at 25%. We have UUP as our US dollar investment at 20%. We have our RSP equal weight S&P 500 ETF at 10%. We have our GOBT, which is our US Treasury bond ETF at 10%. And then we have our BITO ticker symbol Bitcoin ETF at 5%. So currently in 1 week's worth of data, our gold position is down 0.43%. or 13 cents. Our commodities position is down 0.56% or 14 cents. Our US dollar position is up 0.05% or 1% or 1 cent. Our stocks, our RSP equal weight, is up 0.40% or 0.04 cents. Our government bond position is up 0.20% or 0.02 cents. And our Bitcoin position is down 0.20% or down 0.01 cent. So you can see each position week by week how it fluctuates. So you have, to put it bluntly, you have 3 green, 3 red, 3 down, 3 up. So this is the part of the diversification. So we have a higher weighting to gold and commodities, which are down, and we have a lower weighting to dollars, stocks, and bonds, which are up. So even though our position is down 0.21%, as an example, if we were 100%, let's say, into gold ETF, the GLD, we would be down 0.43% in our overall portfolio instead of 0.21% as you see down here. So because it's spread across different asset classes, we didn't take a bigger hit. So these ones here in the middle, they gave us a better advantage. They were able to increase our portfolio's value a little bit. So week by week, again, we're going to keep seeing this. It's going to keep evolving. We're going to have more data you're going to see on the longer term time horizon. But again, this is just week 1. So this is our transactions. Basically on July 22nd, you can see the date up here. I made the deposit of $100 into this account. Like I said, I was going to seed it with $100. And we put in, as I said earlier, Bitcoin at 5% or $5. Government bonds at 10% or $10. Commodities at 25% or $25. Stocks at 10% or $10, gold at 30% for $30, and US dollars at 20% or $20. So this is our very first transaction. So each week you'll see when the money goes in, you'll see the transactions of which asset class they're going into. Now, since the percentages are set right now, you could think that if I put in $10, the gold ETF, which is set to 30% here, is going to get $3 out of that $10. The commodities ETF is going to get $2.50 out of that $10 because it's at 25%. The US dollar ETF is going to get $2 because it's set at 20%. The stock ETF is going to get $1 out of that $10 because it's at 10%. The government bond is going to get $1 out of that $10 because it's at 10%. And the Bitcoin ETF is going to get 50 cents out of that $10 because it's at 5%. So gold's going to get the most at $3. So it's going to get the heaviest weighting. But again, we're going little by little. We're building wealth slowly over time, not get rich quick. So the next part of our investment strategy is the passive income side, which is the staking through the gaming, through the revenue distribution of Illuvium. So this is their dashboard. This is what it looks like. As of right now, we have a portfolio value of $81.44. When I originally seeded this, I did $100 probably a week or two before. So the market came down. Bitcoin and many other crypto assets came down. But remember, we're staking this. So we're essentially like giving it to a bank where a bank will offer you a certificate of deposit. So if you give them $100 and you say you want to deposit that for 1 year, and at the end of that 1 year, the bank will return you 5% on your money. So you put in your money, lock it up for 365 days. At the end of those days, the bank will give you your $100 back plus 5%. So we're similarly doing the same thing with locking up our money in this ILV token for revenue distribution. So as gamers are playing the game, they're making transactions, they're buying skins, they're buying digital assets, they're paying for fuel to go to different areas. Little bit of that transaction that happens will go to us. So because I'm staked in the protocol. Now, if I had more tokens in the protocol, I'd get a bigger chunk. Or if the economy was much larger, I would get a bigger chunk. But right now, we just started with $100. The market came down, so now it's $80, but it's staked in the revenue distribution protocol. So you see the ILV current price at the time of this recording was yesterday. So that's $61.76. That's $61 per token, basically. I have no SILV2. That's the in-game currency. It's not used outside of the game. The ILV balance is 0 because I haven't earned anything. I have no pending rewards, and actually the rewards system was a 3-year investment system, so there's not going to be this anymore because it ended. It's now all going to be through the revenue distribution side. So you'll see this come up slowly over the months. And then no RevDiz claimed, no total ILV claimed, no total SILV2 claimed. So I have nothing yet. I just barely staked it. So this is what our stake looks like. So I have my ILV token. The amount you saw earlier, it's not on here. It's fine. It's 1.32 ILV. That's what $100 worth was a few days ago or a week ago. And the source is deposit. Now the weighting is 2. The reason why it says that is because I locked it for 365 days. Right now it says 364. So basically I locked it for a full year. And the longer you lock it up, the higher weighting you get. And when you have a higher weighting, you basically get more rewards. So if you had a 1-for-1 weighting or just a weight of 1, if you would get just an average amount, but if you have a weighting of 2, you get increased rewards. So like you can almost get double the rewards, but you're locking up your money for a longer period of time. So I locked it up on July 27th, 2024. So as the months go by and I add more stakes because we're increasing our investment, you'll see more of these line items basically coming up. So over time, like I said, the revenue distribution is still new. It's not been running. It's only done one, I believe, in the past, maybe over a year ago, where they just had a sale and they did a revenue distribution for it, but it has not had the consistent from the gameplay yet because the game just came out on July 25th. So we're going to see more of this in the future. So again, right now our revenue distribution is 0 because the system hasn't started yet. We just barely put our stake in. So over time, we're going to see this number hopefully go up month by month, and then we'll be able to use that revenue distribution for whatever we want. We could liquidate the coin and just get cash, just like cash in hand in your bank account. You could keep the coin invested. You can exchange it for the SILV2 token and use it in the game. You could restake it. You can get more. You can get more money if you want. And then this was our transaction. So it was July 22nd for $100. Bought 1.319 ILV token. Did it on Coinbase, on the Ethereum network. It's completed. And then their network fee. Of course, there's going to be fees. So rather than doing week by week, like the M1 Finance portfolio, I'll probably do a deposit monthly. So where week by week, I'll do $10 a week. Maybe this will do $40 once per month. because I don't want to keep paying a fee every time I do a stake of the protocol. So that's it for the weekly numbers. So now we can look at the chart. So on here, basically we have our 6 investments. We have our GLD. So it looks like we're going to look at this on a 3-month chart. We have our USCI, which is our commodities. We have our UUP, which is our dollar. We have our RSP, which is stocks. We have our GOVT, which is bonds. And we have our BITO, which is Bitcoin. So as of right now, the majority of our money is in gold. Now, if we look at it on a 1-year chart, gold has had a great rise. If you look at it kind of just like this, I'll draw some lines. Lines always help me out. Don't have to be perfect lines. You don't want them to really be perfect. You just need to kind of guide your eyes. So as I'm looking at this, I'm kind of looking at this really long trend. So this is why I'm investing in gold right now. Basically back here in October of last year, it's just pretty much been in an uprise ever since. Now you see it right here coming down in this area. So if we look at it on a 3-month, you'll see it's been coming down from here. Now it could turn around. I'm going to continue watching it, but it's still in this overall long uptrend. So this is why I'm still putting a majority of my money in gold at the moment. But we're going to see how inflation affects it. We're going to see how growth affects it. So if we look at USCI, this is our commodities. This is going to be on a 1-year chart. Same thing. It's been more bullish. And look at it kind of like that. So it's kind of been on this uptrend, same thing, since about December of last year. Now it's coming down pretty low here. I might decrease my weighting to commodities, that USCI ETF. Right now it's at like 25%. It's at 25%. So I might lower that down maybe 20%. We'll see how it goes. But it's still in this long uptrend. So on a 3-month, it's just coming right around this line. It's kind of coming down. So we're going to see what happens with that. UUP, that's our dollar. This has gone kind of sideways. So it's actually kind of down, sideways and down. So it's more of like coming into like a wedge pattern here. So hit this peak here. This is October 23 coming down. And then hit this bottom here in December 23, but it's been coming up. So there's this really big drop right here. And then it's been rising ever since. So we're going to see if this can continue above the line or break below it. So if I were to kind of extend these out further like this, we're going to see what happens at this cross point right here. Likely before that, it might break up or down, or it's going to continue the trend. So since we're 20% weighted in, if it continues up, I might just keep that weighting. If it breaks down, then again, I might lower the weighting. Might go down to 15% just to see what happens. RSP, so our equal weight stock ETF. So I've had this at a lower percentage for a while because I've not been as optimistic on the stock market, just because a lot of with inflation and growth, the numbers haven't been very good, but people are still just bullish on stocks for some reason. But because we have that 10% in there, I've been still getting portfolio gain because of this. But if you look at it on a 3-month, it's kind of gone sideways. So it's gone from in May 24 to here, currently where we're at, kind of just at the same price level. So it hasn't changed too much, but it's slowly been creeping up on this uptrend. So I may increase this more if the uptrend continues, but I'm not too optimistic on the stock market at the moment. This is our government bonds. These have just gone sideways. So there has not been much movement with these. Again, they're getting kind of a wedge pattern with this one. Let's see if we can make that look a little better. So if this might break up above this, that would be great. Keep in mind that bonds have been coming down for a while. If you look at this downtrend here, it's been coming down for, so this is going back to 2020. So bonds have not been a good investment for a little while, mainly because the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates. But we're going to see what happens. This little wedge pattern down here, it looks small in perspective when you look at the longer term view. But if it turns around right here and keeps going up, I might increase my allocation of bonds. Then we have Bitcoin, the most volatile asset. Over 1 year at this big run up and then run down. If we put some bars on this one, or some lines on this one, kind of see like it broke out above this area and then it crashed down, and now it's kind of coming down like this. So if we look at it on a 3 month, it has this bounce right here. And we're going to see basically what happens. I don't think Bitcoin can survive if the stock market doesn't survive. I think if the stock market goes down, Bitcoin's going to go down. But we're going to see what happens. Right now, like I said, I only have 5% allocated into that investment. So I'm going to see what happens before I put in a larger amount. Again, it's volatile, so I got to be very careful. We're just going to follow these numbers again week by week. So every week, we're going to look at these numbers. We're going to look at the allocations. We're going to look at our revenue distribution. And we're going to look at these charts just to kind of follow and learn. We're not going to change these 6 ETFs. We're always going to be using the same ETFs. Ideally, I won't have to change them unless something goes wrong with one of them. One of them shuts down or something. I would find a different proxy ETF. So if I didn't use RSP as the equal weight ETF for one reason for stocks, I might use SPY, even though SPY is not equal weight, but I might use a different proxy ETF for the S&P 500. So I plan to continue to use these 6 and just move the percentages around little by little. So ideally, we won't make these videos too long, but just want to do a weekly update. Every week I'm going to update this, and we're just going to show the numbers and go from there. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.